Hello and welcome to PMC English. This is Aisha Parasi and welcome to our brand new series of live in spiritual talks, wherein we will be getting you different spiritual masters and we will be discussing about the different spiritual topics. So welcome to the first episode of this series. So in today's series, we have Mr. Veda Vyas, who is a spiritual scientist, a nuclear scientist, and a life coach. Welcome to our series, sir.
Thank you, Aishi. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you for inviting me to this program.
So today we are going to discuss about spirituality. So let's start with the basic topics, and in the upcoming episodes, let's get deeper into the spirituality.
Sure.
So starting with, sir, the basic, what is spirituality and how can one get into spirituality?
In the basic, if you want to simplify it very simply, anything that is related to personal development at all three levels, that is physical, mental, and energy. So when we focus on all three levels for our own growth, then I call it spirituality. Spirituality is not something that someone speaks about as a religion, or it's not about something called, it's about the people, it's not something to be applied to others.
Right.
In the sense that people think that I know this concept, you should be doing this. This is the right way to live. So
right.
That is not spirituality, that is religion. If we are telling others to do what they are supposed to be like and do like, then that's not spirituality. Spirituality is what we do for ourselves, for our own growth.
But there are a lot of misconceptions. People get confused between the religion and spirituality. Some people take spirituality as, devoting themselves to certain gods. So if you just can clarify for those people who get confused between spirituality and religion.
See, there are people who are religious and spiritual, because even in the religion, there are some people are focused on their own personal development. Actually, they want to grow and become better. They want to overcome their vices, and they're actually putting effort towards that direction. So that part is spiritual. Whereas the simple difference, as I explained, if they want others to follow what they are saying is right, then it becomes a religion. As long as you follow it for yourself, it is spirituality.
Right.
So there is nothing wrong with dedicating to a deity as a process of growth. That can also be spiritual. But where you and how you apply makes the difference. If you are trying to become an expert and trying to tell others what to do, then you are being religious. But if you are doing it yourself and inspiring other people to do it, it's a total different ballgame. That's called spirituality.
So there are certain basic steps when we get into something new or when we want to learn something. So
Right.
When it comes to spirituality, what are those basic steps to get into spirituality?
Okay, basic steps. Actually, when you ask me, I just remembered Carlos Castaneda. He's a Mexican-American spiritual master or mystic. And he wrote in his book about their concept of what is spirituality, how one grows in spiritual terms. He speaks about three stages. One is knowledge. Initially, people want to know what spirituality is. They don't know anything, so I want to know. So they consume a lot of knowledge and information about spirituality. They talk to a lot of people, a lot of philosophies and everything. This is the knowledge phase. And there comes a point, he says, when the knowledge is too much information, but it's not working for me. It is still frustrating. Then the person feels that knowledge is not enough. Then they feel like they have to do something. Because knowledge is very passive. It's like tamo pradhan in Indian terms. Then they become active and they pursue power, ability to do things. how do I use this knowledge to make something happen in my life? So be it active power, be it passive power, it depends. So they seek this knowledge as a base to find the source of power, of empowerment. Then they achieve, these people walk on different paths of achievement. For them, achievement is important. So they find different techniques that empowers them. Maybe it's a basic ritual, maybe it's something else. There are different processes for that. And then when they are empowered, maybe it's simple meditation itself is so empowering. But it has to be applied in life somewhere. So it satisfied their need for empowerment. When they are empowered to a certain extent, they suddenly realize that there is someone always more powerful than me. And their race to that power can never end. Someone who will always make them humble. So that's again as frustrating because I'm not the most powerful. I have not achieved yet. Then the third stage comes, he says, is the path of wisdom. First is path of knowledge, then comes path of power. And the third stage is called path of wisdom. At this point, they understand that power is good. Ultimately, it's making me arrogant. It's not actually making me connect with people. It's actually disconnecting with me from the environment. So when that is realized, then the person wants wisdom. He wants to seek something better. So the path of wisdom is not about power. Power automatically comes. It's there. It's about path of wisdom is about knowing oneself and one's connection to the environment around and being in with harmony and living with grace. And this, when they get to this stage, world sees them as spiritual. Until then, world sees them as powerful and someone to be scared, or world sees them as knowledgeable and someone who talks a lot and who is interesting and entertaining, if they are that. But when a person is graceful and mature and wise, then we see the effect of spirituality directly in them.
Because, when there was not much knowledge about spirituality, how one can get into spirituality, people usually used to think that the person who have taken monastic renunciation are only the people who can get into spirituality. But now, when people understood the real meaning of spirituality as to how they can come into it, how it can help one develop themselves, that is when most of the people now, if you see around, they all are practicing spirituality.
Right.
So now you told us the basic steps to get into spirituality. So for a youngster who is about like 12 to 13 years, why do you think that a youngster of that age should start practicing spirituality? Like, what is there for that youngster in spirituality? And because the youngsters, they understand spirituality or any other aspect when you tell them about the fruits of it, that this is you are going to get this when you practice this. So for a young girl or a boy of 12, a teenager of a 12, 13 years, what is there for them in spirituality?
Okay. I'll tell you a secret.
Yeah.
About communicating with children.
Okay.
Children never listen.
Yes.
Okay. They imitate.
Yes.
So instead of telling them, be that.
Right.
You learn it and be it, and they will automatically learn from you. You can't teach spirituality to young children. It's next to impossible. It's only when you are being spiritual, you automatically impart spirituality to the younger generation. It's the parents' responsibility to be spiritual, not parents' responsibility to teach spirituality. It's impossible to teach spirituality, especially at that young age.
Right.
So I would rather say, be spiritual and the biggest point is, why do you want children to be spiritual if you are not? Right?
Right.
If the parent is not spiritual, society is not spiritual, why do parents and society feel that children are supposed to be spiritual if they don't value it? Is it possible to teach spirituality if you are not spiritual?
Not really.
Exactly. So to actually teach spirituality to younger generation, especially at that age, in teenage or earlier, only way to do it is expose those children to be spiritual, to actually spiritual wise environment where people are actually spiritual. It cannot be taught. It has to be lived.
Because most of the people, they get influenced when they see people, when they learn from them that,
Yes.
oh, when she's practicing spirituality, this is what she's getting. Then why don't I try the same and get those fruits? That is how the mentality of the young people are.
No, that's the mentality of the education system.
Okay.
See, there are some fundamental things. The education system is today about competition.
Yes.
So if I always focused on others rather than myself.
Right.
Spirituality is the other way.
Yes. It's
It's
focusing
always
on
on ourselves and our inner being rather than others.
Yes.
That's only taught by being, not by teaching, not by speaking. So if we are that, then people will get inspired about it. Automatically they'll do it.
Yes.
Especially kids are very sensitive when they see that you are spiritual, really. Then they want to be like you. That's it. As simple as that. And nobody can stop them from learning it because they are seeing it. They know how to be that. So spirituality at the young age is not taught, it's actually learned by example.
Yes. And also, Mr. Vyas, when it comes to spirituality, it's such a vast topic. There are a lot of things that people get curious about. Like, for example, the karma, what happens when we die. And there are many such topics which people get, curious to know about.
Yes.
So, do all these people get answers to their questions when they practice spirituality? Is spirituality the only way or the only key to get answers to our questions which are not known by the people?
Spirituality, in my opinion, is about connecting with inner wisdom. And we all have all the answers that we need inside us. The point is, have we progressed to that extent to be in touch with ourselves, to be able to get answers from inside or not is a question. It's not about whether they can get or not. Everybody has answers to everything. The question is, am I connected to myself enough in that particular way, at that particular resonance to get those answers? Am I open to it that much?
So, Mr. Vyas, when it comes to spirituality, we practice meditation for peace of mind, to know ourselves better and to keep our minds calm. So if you can just elaborate on that, how did this meditation come into practice and how one can actually lead a peaceful life when they practice meditation?
So meditation on one way is connecting with ourselves.
Yes.
So when we are connected to ourselves, again, what are we connected to? There are many parts of ourselves. Sometimes we are connected to the breath. Sometimes we are connected to the body. Sometimes we are connected to the energetic aspects of emotion. Sometimes we are connected to belief system. Sometimes we are connected to the original source of positive energy.
Right.
Or sometimes we are connected to the elements around us, the nature.
Yes.
So there are different connectivities that are happening. Based on the kind of meditation, we connect to different things and contemplate that energy and resonate with it. And because of that resonance, the energy flows inside us change and create certain environment within us, which feels peaceful or which feels energized, it just feels empowered. So meditation is an empowerment technique where we are also connecting with ourselves, our own awareness, and also resonating with something better sometimes. There are certain meditation techniques which don't use anything external as a resonance, but only internal. So which we are focused only on ourselves. And there are meditation techniques where we connect with nature. There are meditation techniques where we connect with different deities, God, and whoever higher, healing energies, spirits, whatever you connect to, whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
So depending on the belief system, the meditation varies, the process varies, and the kind of ritual varies.
Yes.
But basically, all meditation is about two things. One is awareness and an empowerment.
Yes.
And why did it start? It's as simple. Whoever was able to be focused on any particular thing,
yes,
found that they have the ability to be empowered in achieving that thing.
Yes.
This has nothing to do with spirituality. It's even otherwise also, you'll know that a sports person, when they are highly focused on their sports, they achieve incredible things in that.
Yes.
A scientist who is highly focused on his research and experiments, they achieve great things in that.
Yes.
So this ability is inherent to us. And using this ability to grow in ourselves is spirituality.
Right.
And there are many paths.
Also,
So,
yeah, you were telling something.
No, continue, please ask.
Also, you mentioned about awareness.
Yes.
So what exactly does this awareness mean?
Awareness is something directly connected to breath and being present. These are the two words I'll use. Breath is a physical component of awareness. Being present is what I say is a mental component. So if we have to simplify that. Okay. So am I being present right now? How much am I being present to what is the awareness? But if I want to force my presence here and now, then breath usually helps a lot. By focusing on breath, we can focus our presence to the present moment, to whatever we want to.
Yes.
So being aware is about being present and being open to the information in the presence. Like right now, what's happening around me? I'm having so many sensory informations coming into me, like air is flowing, the temperature is maybe increasing or reducing. I don't know, it's a constant. But I know there is a certain amount of warmth or cold, whatever temperature sensation is there, and certain amount of sounds around me. But I'm not focused on them. I'm not aware of it. I'm just ignoring them because I'm focused on something else. What am I being present to is what I'm aware of. Wherever I'm, especially when it comes to spirituality and within ourselves, the breath is used to bring awareness to a certain point. Wherever my breath is focused on, my presence is going there, my awareness going, I'm aware of that. So awareness is used for getting the presence into something, or focus or concentration into whatever we want. Some meditation techniques focus on awareness on body, like Vipassana. Body sensations are released, are addressed there. Then there are some meditations where they focus on mind, where you breathe into your thoughts. Yes. You keep focus and address the thoughts, just allow them to come and flow.
Yes.
Without getting into thoughts.
Yes.
So breath is used as anchor. to bring awareness to a different detachment to thoughts. Similarly, there are so many different techniques where the awareness, breath, and presence are important. When a person is not being able to be present, then there are personality issues, and they are not able to focus, and they can also become dysfunctional. So that is the reason spirituality is very important, because if we are able to focus our awareness where we want to, then we can create we can achieve a lot of things.
So do you also want to say that, only through spirituality we can build our awareness?
Awareness is integral part of us. It has nothing to do with what you do, what you don't do. Awareness is there. Okay. The point is, spirituality is a systematic process. If you are following a process that is awareness, if you understand the awareness part of the process, then you'll know how to focus and build awareness, because that is inbuilt and ingrained into spirituality.
Yes.
So yes, awareness can be built on many things. Like if you see, there is a doctor, a surgeon.
Yes.
When they are doing surgery, they are highly focused. Okay. But if you ask them to cut a vegetable, they can't. What's the difference?
They're not aware about that.
Yes. So awareness is getting trained whether we like it or not in different aspects, but it's not holistic. Whereas in spirituality, we build it holistically as part of being ourselves rather than as part of skill.
Also, can spirituality exist without God?
Spirituality exists only because I exist, not because God exists.
No, because there are certain practices of spirituality where people chant, where people just, devote themselves to certain deities. So that is why I just wanted to know if spirituality can exist beyond that.
See, some people, spirituality is about growth. Growth in awareness, growth in power, growth in wisdom. So any god or deity or higher self is a symbolic representation that we project of that availability of greatness that we can be. Okay. So using that as an anchor, we grow. So if you don't want to call it a deity, you can call it universe, you can call it something else. You can simply call it nature as it is. Or you can also call it myself, the original, true, perfect self, which is capable of being infinite. So what you call it doesn't matter.
Yes.
The fact that you believe that it is possible and have very crystal clear image or belief about it matters.
So, like, how do we practice spirituality in our daily life, or how do we get to know that, okay, this is the time that, we need to focus on ourselves, or we need to just practice spirituality to know ourselves? So, how do we figure out all of these things?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How do you figure out that we need a job to earn money?
When there's a need of it, when we need money, or when we need a growth in life, when we just want to build our career, that is when we start searching for.
No, you need a job because you are told that this is important. If this was not told that it was important, you might not even have thought about job, and you would have found something equally or even more interesting by yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, right? So we are doing most of things because we are told. That is the problem.
Right.
Instead, if we focus on ourselves and feel what am I resonating with, what is amazing about me, and try to do that and enjoy my life that way, that is spiritual life. Okay. So when we are stuck in this, I was told to be, this is the right way, to what I will rely on myself to know what is right for me.
Yes.
When this shift happens, then we start becoming spiritual. That shift. And what brings that shift is different for each person. Disillusion with world could be a reason, or being dumped by partner could be a reason. Usually it's a pain that causes people to shift. Otherwise, there is resistance to change.
Right.
When we realize that we can only depend on ourselves, and we are capable of depending on ourselves and do amazing, it's a fact, actually.
Right.
And in reality, we can only care about society if we can take care of ourselves. If we are depending on society for our own happiness, then we cannot take care of anybody and we cannot take care of ourselves. So being spiritual is like no-brainer there. The only thing, the problem is, society told us this is what you have to do, this is how you have to do. And when we listen to a lot of people, others, rather than looking inside, what am I really here? What am I capable of inside me?
Yes.
Can I support myself energetically, emotionally, and whatever is required? When I do that and resonate with whatever is around me, then when I am there for myself, know that whole world is there for me. When I am not there for myself, nobody is there for me. So in spite of what society told, if you're feeling like nobody is there for me, why is nobody there for me? Then know that it's time for spirituality.
Because most of the people, they come into spirituality or they practice spirituality when they have a pain. They're going through suffering,
Yes.
They're going through pain, and they are not able to figure out what exactly is happening in their life and how can they come out of it. And that is when they choose to get into spirituality. That is when they start doing meditation to know their self, to keep their minds calm.
So pain is a very good teacher. And this life on earth is called school of pain.
And I totally agree with that. Because now also in my basic life, in my daily life, that is how I learn things. When I go through certain pain in life, that is when I realize things. Oh, this is how it is. So it's like pain is a good teacher to everyone.
Exactly.
Yes. Also, Mr. Vyas, when there are certain faith, there are certain belief systems, and then there is spirituality. So how do you differentiate between the faith and the spirituality? Because at times both of them get related to each other, because certain people, they follow certain faith, they have certain belief systems, and then there is spirituality. So how do we differentiate between both of them?
Faith is integral part of spirituality, like I said. So whatever belief system we are projecting onto, like a deity or a concept or whatever, we are actually seeing it as something bigger than me. And sometimes it is positive and sometimes it is negative. What do I mean by positive and negative is very simple. Sometimes when we see a belief system, it helps us grow. And sometimes when we see a belief system, when we hold on to it so strongly that it limits us.
Yeah.
So when something bigger than ourselves is limiting us, then know that it is being a negative influence.
Yes.
Then that faith has turned into something like a dogma.
Yes.
And when it actually allows us to grow and become much bigger than ourselves, then it is positive, then it's spirituality. So what's exactly happening for each person is different. So we can't brand as faith as something spiritual or not. Faith is a tool like anything else, on path of personal development, sometimes people don't know how to use faith properly, so they get carried away, and they need to learn certain lessons about faith, so it creates a lot of pain.
But what role, according to you, what role would you say that, a faith plays in our life?
Okay, very simple. Is tomorrow going to be a good day?
No idea.
But if you have to, how are you living? What is your hope?
That it will be a good day.
Right? So you believe that tomorrow is going to be a good day. Whether it's going to be or not is immaterial, but you believe that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you believe it, that's a faith. And faith in what?
Faith in the belief that we have, or faith in ourselves.
Yes, it's faith in ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So that faith that tomorrow is going to be a good day, is it limiting you or is it making you grow?
It's making me grow.
So that is the very simple way of showing how faith is a tool used in spirituality. We believe in ourselves, so we are hopeful about future. So our faith in ourselves is creating a better future. It's leading to growth.
But not all the time it leads us to growth. At times it limits us to.
Yes, when it limits, we have to check.
How do we do that?
So usually when we believe in,
Yes.
and it is limiting us, how do you know that it's limiting you?
Because, there is a feeling of non-satisfaction, a feeling of getting stuck somewhere.
Yes.
So maybe with that we can just...
Good. So feeling of non-satisfaction, feeling of getting stuck usually come because we are trying to apply that particular faith and not able to connect it with our reality in this life.
Okay.
Faith is a mental concept. It's a source of power. Whereas reality is what we live in. Somewhere this reality and that faith are disconnected. Now it's our job to either connect it properly, or you realize that the faith I'm using is not the right faith for this particular thing. So find a better ideology that will work for you. So faith is something that evolves. It is not fixed.
Right.
If it become fixed, then you are stuck.
Got it.
If your faith can evolve, you will always evolve.
But there is another concept here, is that the faith and the trust. We have trust on certain things, we have trust on certain people, but then there is faith too in that. So how do we deal with this battle between the faith and the trust?
That's the problem, because when you say I trust in people, I have faith in people, are we seeing it as a replacement for faith in ourselves?
Yeah, maybe.
That's the problem. You can't replace faith in yourself with faith in other people.
So how do we deal with this battle which comes in our mind?
This battle is a battle of self-worth. We are lowering our self-worth by placing faith in other people instead of myself. I am saying that I'm less capable. I'm unworthy of my own faith. The moment you realize that this is what I'm saying when I'm placing trust in other people in this context, then what happens? If you acknowledge this, just acknowledge that, am I seeing myself as unworthy of my own faith? Am I really unworthy? Do I want to be unworthy? Then what do we do?
Yes, that is what I want to know from you.
No, that's what I'm asking you. The moment you realize that you are putting faith on others as a replacement for faith on yourself,
yes,
you're seeing yourself as unworthy, what will you do?
maybe I won't continue with that. And
Exactly.
I would have faith in my own self.
So check if you have faith in yourself, what's happening to that battle?
But what about this trust that we build with people? We build on certain things, we build on certain aspects.
Again, the same question. Is it a replacement for trust in myself?
And with time, it gets too strong. The trust that we build around with things, with people, it gets so strong that we, in our own self, we get so confused that whether to go with this or whether to go with that.
Yes,
and
again, the
that
same
is how
question.
The battle starts.
Just acknowledge. Is the trust replacement for trust in myself? That is a simple question you need to answer. First, answer it for yourself. And then decide, do I want to be such unworthy of myself, or do you want to be worthy?
Got it.
And when you decide that, what's happening to that battle?
It's no more a battle.
As simple as that.
It's just that we need to check with our own selves before we get into that battle.
Exactly.
Got it. So, Mr. Vyas, that now maybe time won't be sufficient. So before ending of this episode, I want to know about your...
Yes.
So before ending of this, I want to know about your journey. How do you describe your spiritual path, your spiritual journey?
My spiritual journey has been very interesting from childhood to now. It's a huge journey, long journey. We've already covered it in one of the earlier episodes.
Just bit, in a gist, if you can.
In a gist, I would say, initially it was about exploration, to find out what is right for me. And it was about service mostly, serving others as part of spiritual growth, especially with people who are spiritual.
Yeah.
And then I learned meditation and practiced a lot of meditation. I've been practicing for almost 20 years now. And the meditation took me to higher heights, and it created a lot of channels opened up, and I was able to see what different possibilities of how I could be. Then I started focusing on the ground roots from where they were tugging me, about the family, the environment, and everything. Because for me, the kind of meditation I connected with was connection with God, and it was so powerful that it actually created a distance from my roots to me. So I had to get back to the roots and bring that connection of God to the roots.
So is it like an everyday learning for you?
Yes, every day we turn on a new layer of our karma, of our personality, and what we want to achieve and what is there. There's always a struggle going on. If we are not struggling, we are complacent. That's what I believe. So either we enjoy what we have done, or we struggle to get to the next level. So we are always working on ourselves. And sometimes when we are working on ourselves, something new pops up. Oh, I have not yet worked on this.
Yeah.
And then this is what is limiting me right now. So I work on that and clear it off. Then again, go to this is left. I thought I worked on it. It is still left. Come on, I come this thing. So we keep on working on. It's a constant journey. It's an amazing journey. It's a lifelong, amazing journey.
So thank you, Mr. Vyas, for joining in this episode. And I just hope that all the viewers who are watching this series, these all topics would be helpful for them to figure out is it this thing that they were looking forward for. So in the next episode, we will discuss more about spirituality. We will go a little deeper. Today, we just cover the basics thing that usually people know, and there are certain people who doesn't know about all of this.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining in this episode.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. I just hope that the series would be beneficial to all of you. Till then, stay tuned to PMC English. This is Aishi Parasi.